Hey everybody, it's Commander Clyde. Welcome back to another patch notes review. Today we are looking at the Midseason 9.7 update, which includes the Nickelodeon event. And not wasting any time, your skins are Danny Phantom, Janice, XJ9 Freya, Invader Zim Cupid, Powdered Toastman Gilgamesh. I don't know what the hell this character is from actually. And Rocco Danzaburo. All the other ones I know, obviously, because I watched all these shows when I was younger. So quite familiar. Now, I understand why they didn't, but I feel like, why didn't you just make that a Cleena skin? Like, I know the ginger thing, whatever. I don't think anybody really cares at this point with that stuff. Some people cared with the Thanatos skin, but that really wasn't a big deal. And I thought maybe they start doing more skins that way, but I guess not. So they went with Janice, even though in the theme song literally says walk through walls, disappear, and fly. Janice does one of those things. So it would have made perfect sense, but okay, you know. And then some new skins: the Crab, Charybdis, the Maiden Iset, the Lion Heimdallr, and the Scales Nemesis. Is some kind of theme thing, I guess. And then Toxic Overload Achilles, he's just over here by himself. And then the bonus skins: Honeybee, Aphrodite, Lich Queen, Bellona. This one looks kind of cool. That one I do actually want to see. And then some more that are live later. Glub Glub Geb, he's Fish, and then Spirit Father Odin. Here's a release schedule. Oh, there's 2 bonus updates. Okay. And the mid-season is next Tuesday. Alright. Going on for direct purchasable skins. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. There's all that stuff. And then there's some cosmetics too. And then the Zodiac Council Battle Pass. Oh, is that what? Oh, that's what the theme is. Okay. Zodiac, I see. And then, of course, usual things. Here's your paid stuff. Here's your free stuff. Smite Night. Do I really care about this? No, we'll just go through week 1 Jade Corruption Joust, which is the map that was introduced in Season 7. Classic Conquest again. Corrupted Arena, which we do like. Classic Conquest again. I think that would be kind of less novelty. I could be like, why don't they do the open beta map for Conquest for once, just for fun? That might be interesting, although it's a lot more similar to current Conquest map. It does have some differences to it, so that could be fun, but I guess we're not. And then back to the 5v5 Conquest. And the rewards, I'm not going to read all that. Quality of life, the following gods are now free to new players. We got more free stuff all the time. Hey. Oh. So they're just changing the free-to-play lineup. And now Aries, Artemis, Guan Yu, Ra, and Thor will no longer be free to new players, but you will keep them free if you joined prior to 9.7. That's interesting. I mean, I guess it's fun, change things up, have different free gods for people to play. We only have one god that wasn't a Season 0 edition or already in the base game. Why wouldn't they have gone with more? That's weird. Because, like, let's see, Poseidon and Bacchus, I think, were in the base game. Shock was pretty soon after that. Thanatos was a Season 0 god. As I remember that. And then Izanami's just out here in, like, Season 3 or 4 or whatever it was. Could have had some variety with that there, but... Yeah. But there's the new free lineup. And favor prices for tier 2 skins. Okay, cool. Now be priced at 25,000 favor. All of these, which obviously we're not going to read. And then these skins are not affected. Blah, blah, blah. Bunch of skin reclassification. The 5 shadow skins have had the clan exclusive tag removed and now can be direct purchased. Okay. Fun. Conquest general bugs. We do like this though. Oh wait, UI fixed an issue where Yu-Hong was missing from the pick your got chest. Fixed an issue where clan avatars were displaying blank art icons in clan loadout. And then general gameplay conquest Primal Fury. Fixed an issue where the Primal Fury is dealing more damage than intended. Fixed an issue where the Chief Centaur special attack was scaling incorrectly, doing more damage than intended. Obelisk offerings. Fixed an issue where offerings are giving more mana than intended. Fixed an issue where the spirit minion could be crowd controlled out of the mist and become immune. Corrupted arena. Okay, don't care. Jungle practice. Fixed an issue where the killing the fire giant gave 2 buffs to gods. What? Fixed an issue where the green buff pad icon displaying as the red buff. What? Fixed an issue with the green buff not dropping when the camp was killed. / auto buy. Who cares? We'll look at the Lancelot bugs because he's new. The rest I will probably just skip. Fixed an issue where stuns weren't knocking him off his mount. Fixed an issue where he was targetable during Freya banished while unmounted. Fixed an issue where Pridwin's shield explosion wasn't proccing after his ultimate. Fixed an issue where Nox couldn't exit shadow form while he was mounted. Fixed an issue where his model would glitch when being pushed or pulled by certain gods. Fixed the description of his mount up ability missing a word in the last sentence. Okay, that's a lot of bugs with him. Anyway, general god balance brawling, which is the mechanic that changes the amount of healing you do. You do less healing during brawl. It goes back to normal outside of brawl. Brawling time until brawling applies out of god combat increase from 3 to 5 seconds. Okay. Making changes to help out supports. Lowest level shared XP bonus increase from 1.35 to 1.4. Mid Elder Harpy increased base XP reward from 28 to 34. Mid Small Harpy increased base XP reward from 16 to 18. New Glyphs. Oh boy. As you know, Glyphs are the big items that you can upgrade to for an additional gold cost if you wanted to. They've been a major success. Players have been requesting more. Two of the common pieces of feedback we got from the first iteration, there isn't a good option for each god archetype. A good example here would be combo mages that have low CDs and minimal CC like Ryzen and Merlin. These gods do not care about the attack speed of Nimble Rod and Tahuti and cannot easily confirm the Meteor from Calamitous Rod. We don't expect every single archetype to have a perfect glyph, even after this round of new items, but the more types of gods that have a glyph, they are excited to build, the better. Some gods wanted the passives that the glyphs provided, but they were required to build an item that didn't synergize well with their kits. Take Jotun's Ferocity, for example. A strong passive that in-hand assassins love, but gods like Arachne and Baka don't typically build Jotun's Wrath. So with this round of glyphs, some existing glyphs will be moved to a new tier 3 item. They will keep their passives but receive new names in art. Any item that lost a glyph has received a brand new glyph to replace it. First up on the list with glyphs that are receiving a change is Jotun's Wrath. As stated above, we feel Jotun's Ferocity is strong if I'm passive. It just wasn't in the right home. Jotun's Wrath is for ability-based physical damage dealers that want cooldown reduction. Jotun's Vigor fits nicely and will be receiving no changes. Jotun's Ferocity is being removed to make room for Jotun's Cunning. Jotun's Cunning leans into the cooldown reduction identity of Jotun's Wrath, giving gods that like to poke with their abilities the potential to do so more often. Jotun's Vigor, unchanged. So, are they taking Verocity's passive and moving it somewhere else? Okay. Alright, here's the new one. Jotun's Cunning. Every time you damage an enemy god with an ability, you gain a stack of wit. At 2 stacks, your next non-ultimate ability that damages an enemy god gets 25% of its cooldown instantly refunded. Whee! Infinite poke. We love poke. Hunbots has really low cooldown, so this is pretty, that's annoying. Well, there's a few assassins that have pretty low cooldowns that you are going to be able to annoy the crap out of people with this. Also, build that... Oh, no, never mind. The example I'm thinking of is not good. But yeah, that does help ability assassins quite a bit. That's a good way to kind of balance that too, because Kali and Mercury and Bakasura have been kind of strong right now. So it's probably a good change. Calamitous Rod unchanged. Said Nimble Rod will be moved around, I guess, to some location. We'll see. So the poke mages that don't have the CC, like Merlin, as they talked about, successfully damaging an enemy god with an ability applies a mark for 3 seconds, damaging them a second time with another ability consumes the mark and provides you 10% movement speed for 2 seconds, and reduces your non-ultimate cooldown abilities by 1.5 seconds on all of them. Only one mark can be active at a time and cannot be applied for 10 seconds after consuming a mark. This is really good for Raijin, Scylla as well. Even Thoth, you know, although he is better at confirming this. But I mean, getting 1.5 second cooldown reduction like that, that's pretty good. Also, this is the move. So we've got new glyphs branching from Bancroft's Talon, as they said, to better fit the other gods that like to actually build this. So let's read. First new tier 3 item to receive glyphs is Bancroft's Talon. Hope you're still reading Mage ADC mains because your ability to be nimble isn't going anywhere. With nimble Bancroft's Talon, Mage ADCs like Freya and Sol can go for a strong early power spike item in Bancroft's Talon and invest. Oh, it's on Talon. Okay. And invest. Wait. No, the full name's called Bancroft's Talon. I just forget that because we're so used to just calling it Bancroft's. My brain melted for a second. That's not what the one I'm thinking of is called. Never mind. I think. I'd have to double check item names. No, the other one I'm thinking of is Typhon's. I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, so Bancroft's Talon. And invest in an additional bit of gold later in order to make it scale properly. Bancroft's Call is a brand new glyph designed for those short range mages that are, for lack of a better term, getting in there. Gods like Zhang and Hades love Bancroft's Talon already since they can afford to lose some HP to get the increased damage and lifesteal, but now they will be even more incentivized to get that big blink ultimate in the midst of 5 enemies. The passive of Bancroft's Claw takes the user's magical power into account so that tanky guardians can't use it effectively without committing build slots. Anyway, Nimble, Bancroft's Talon, inheriting Nimble Rod of Tahuti. For every 40 magical power you have, you gain 2% attack speed. Then Bancroft's Claw, every 15 seconds gain a stack of Hunger. Abilities cast within 30 units of enemy gods consume a stack, dealing bonus damage equal to 0.5% of the max HP for each 75 magical power you have. Each god damaged by Hunger provides you with a shield of 1% of your max HP for each 75 magical power you have. This cannot exceed 35% of your max HP. Can you even get it close to that number? You can't. You can barely get it to 10. Interesting. But this does provide an interesting thing with those gods, because Hades and Jonqui, if you are playing them in solo, which is typical, you're going to have warlocks. Probably you're going to have a pin item. You're going to have this. You're probably going to have 3 damage items. But with a stacking item in there, you can get 3 stacks of this at least. 75, 150. 4, potentially, actually, if you build well. So that would be pretty good. That would be 2% of max HP and a shield there, which is not a ton of a shield, but it's better than nothing. Anyway, new stuff. Executioner. It's getting something because the hunters need something too, I guess. Or this is more actually for the auto attack assassins. And I mean, hunters could use it, I'm assuming. But we're going to see what it does. The ferocious executioner inheriting Jotun's ferocity puts the marks on the gods. You get bonus damage. Blah, blah, blah. Pretty simple. We know how that one works. The heavy executioner. Basic attacks against enemy gods reduce your target's physical protection by 17.5% for 3 seconds for 2 stacks. Attack speed is capped at 175, however. Note, Silver Branch will still only provide power from this passive once you have exceeded 2.5 attack speed. Silver Branch passive text has been updated to reflect this. Dude, my throat is getting fried today. Oh, man. I've only been recording for 17 minutes and it already hurts. Alright, so new stuff for Magiz. So supports get and things get some more utility here. Let's just read it. Magiz Shelter. Whenever your passive is consumed, the nearest ally god within 25 units gains protection from a single hard crowd control effect for 5 seconds. If this passive is consumed before time runs out, they gain 1 second of crowd control immunity. Okay, so that's good. Oh, it's kind of the Warriors, one of the Warriors X upgrades passive, which gives, well, that provides a shield to the closest ally when they're hit with hard CC. It just gives them flat protection. If the passive is consumed before time runs out, they gain 1 second of crowd control immunity as well. Okay. Magix Revenge. The first enemy god to hit you with hard CC while you're protected becomes marked for revenge for 5 seconds. Gods marked for revenge cause enemy gods within 40 units to move 20% faster towards them and take 10% increased damage. The masks have been changed. All masks in their current iteration are removed, and the new masks will now be starter items. I am not reading this block of text. But my guess is they wanted some fresh stuff here. And most of the masks didn't feel intuitive except Lono's. Because it was actually getting use. So to that end, Protector's Mask starter item. Only purchasable by mages, assassins, and hunters. Stats 125 health, 100 mana. Decreased damage dealt by 6% plus 0.25% of your god's level. Per god's level. Decreased damage taken by 6% plus 0.25% per god level. Getting the assist for an enemy minion or jungle monster dying will provide a 8 bonus gold and restore 15 health and 15 mana. If you are not within 30 units of an ally god for 20 seconds, this passive is disabled until you are near an allied god again. It can be upgraded at level 15. 2. New Lonos Mask. 300 health, 200 mana, 10% CCR, gain 5 stacks of cowardice. Each stack reduces your damage dealt and healing output by 10%. For each 60 protections from items, remove a stack of cowardice. When you remove a stack of cowardice, gain a stack of bravery. For each stack of bravery, gain plus 3% damage mitigation and provides 7 physical and magical protections to all allied gods within 55 units. So now, okay, so this cowardice reduces your damage and healing like normal Lonos would just do. And for each 60 protections from items, you remove a stack of that. When you move them, you get a stack of bravery. Is this timed somehow? Because I don't know how else you would do this. Because, like, for that to help you in a fight... I don't know how that's going to work. Maybe you just get both at the same time. They don't really explain that here. And then Fighter's Mask, similar things, but this is the offensive one. Only purchasable by Warriors and Guardians. 650 gold, 10 physical power, 15 magical power, 10 HP 5, 10% CDR. Passive, increased damage dealt by 6% plus 0.25% per your god's level. Increased damage taken by 6% plus 0.25% per god's level. This item grants 2 MP5 per 10% of your missing mana. Your abilities deal plus 10 bonus ability true damage to minions. And then new Rangdas. 60 Fizz power, 80 magical power, 20 HP 5, 10% CDR. Passive, gain 5 stacks of weakness. Each stack increases your damage taken by 10%. Damn. So if you have full weakness, you're taking 50% more damage. Ouch. For each 65 physical power or 90 magical power from items, remove a stack of weakness. When you remove a stack of weakness, gain a stack of strength. For each stack of strength, gain plus 3% damage dealt and 2% movement speed. And you probably will still get one shot and die, but you will one shot the other person. That is, in fact, how Aggro put it in the update notes show. They one-shot you, but you one-shot them. Big wins. I guess. This will be fun. People are going to mess around with this. This one could be a little weird. This one's easier to use, though, I think. Because I think you can get way more protections from items than you can power. Maybe. I don't know. What does, like, Robin do in solo, typically? He's got Glad Shield. I think you usually get Spirit Robe. You usually get, like, Breastplate and Spectral. So that's still a lot. So I think you remove at least 3 stacks of this, right? Which is good. But, we'll see. That'll balance it out. That one, I mean, they're both going to be pretty fun. We're going to see. For the first time since the R30 items in 2019, we have a brand new full item tree being added. Say hello to what we've been calling the earring tree. Oh boy. There are 4 tier 3 items on the tree, and all brings something completely new to the table. 2 of the earrings break some long established rules of the game in an exciting way. The other 2 are the first items that might cost something to drop onto the battleground that you and your allies can pick up. Ooh. Spicy. Mystical Earrings, tier 1, 400 gold, 15 MP5. Does nothing else. Interesting. And then the Gleaming Ear Cuffs, 1300 builds into Griffin Wing Earrings only. Oh, there's multiple tier 2s. 20 physical power, 30 magical power, 15% attack speed, 15 MP5. For you mana-intensive hunters, I guess. This is better for mages, though, probably, because they like the MP5. And then tier 2 jeweled studs, 1400, built into Sphinx Bauble only. Stats, 30 physical power, 50 magical power, 10% cooldown reduction, 20 MP5. Interesting. So this is for gods that want CDR and MP5 and not attack speed. Tier 2 rose spike earrings, 1200 gold, built into Manticore spike or Fey blessed hoops. Stats 200 health, 15 HP5, 15 MP5, kind of tanky item. Griffin wing earrings, 2200. Griffin wing earrings are designed to make your basic attacks feel more like a hit scan. What? Hitting your basic attacks more easily is a powerful effect, but we think it's fun and unique enough to warrant adding in the item with an additional downside. Class locked to hunters and mages. Stats 40 physical power, 60 magic power, 25% attack speed, 15 MP5. Basic attack projectile speed increased by 40%. Basic attack damage is reduced by 15%. Class locked to hunters and mages. Now, something I'm going to comment on briefly. Is this something Rexy was referring to? Because in his video, I didn't watch it, but in his thumbnail, he just says duel. It says duel is dead, and I'm like, is this part of it? It could be. It does reduce the damage though, so I don't know if it's that big of a deal. It's also only 40 power. I say only, but on an auto attack item, that's actually pretty good. We'll see how balanced around that everything else is. Who doesn't love omnipotence? Using your abilities is a huge part of what makes the game fun. And so using more abilities, more fun, right? Just like with Griffin wing earrings, this effect is powerful enough to warrant a noticeable downside. This item is more expensive than the other earrings because the downside does not impact guardians enough to keep them from prioritizing this item. Between the high cost and the stat spread, we think that is enough of a trade-off for support guardians. Stats 55 physical power, 80 magical power, 10% cooldown reduction, 30 MP5. Cooldown reduction cap increased from 40 to 60%. Whoa. Ability damage dealt decreased by 20% and healing decreased by 20%. But you get 20% more. Actually, you get 50% more crowd control. Cooldown reduction. Excuse me. If you got heavy crowd control, this is pretty nice. Dude. Imagine Aries is like, what's up, dude? I'm about to ult you every 30. I'm about to ult you every 50 seconds. Let's go. That's pretty funny to think about. Very fun. Manticore spikes. 350 HP, 30 HP 5, 20 MP 5, 20% CCR. We're going to speed this up. Who is this for? I mean, this is for... Let me see. I guess it's if you like hard CC and you just want tank stats, but no power or prots. That's interesting. We don't really have many items like that. But we'll see. When you hit an enemy god with hard crowd control, they drop a spike on the ground. When you and an ally pick up that spike, they gain a buff that causes their next ability to deal bonus damage equal to 3% of their max HP. Wow. This effect is doubled if you're the one who picks up the spike. Your spikes last for 7 seconds, cannot stack. Picking up another spike when you have the buff refreshes the duration. So what if I'm in solo and I'm like, what up, I'm Cthulhu, bro. Wait, he doesn't have enough hard CC. What if I'm like Ymir and I freeze you, I pick up the thing, Glacial Strike's gonna hit you for 6% of my maximum health. Ow. That hurts, bro. And then Fey Blessed hoops are similar, it looks like. 300 health, 200 HP 5, 40 MP 5. But each time an ally god dies within 70 units of you, or you heal an ally god with an ability, a flower drops from your ally that can be picked up by you or an ally god. Picking up the flower gives that god a shield equal to 7.5% of their max HP that lasts for 8 seconds. Does not stack. Oh, okay, so this is like... Or you heal an ally god, the flower drops from your ally that can be picked up. Okay. That's interesting. Somebody dies in the team fight, it's not over. somebody pick it up and you can keep going. Pretty fun. These look like they're kind of fun. I like breaking the rules. That's fun, dude. This seems kind of balanced. We'll have to see how it does, if it makes hunters that much better. I don't know if it does because it's raw power and attack speed. And reduced basic attack damage. So I don't know if that's that great. You can't stack it into like Oboe because you don't do enough damage. I guess Oboe's based on power though. I don't know if it would lower its damage though. That's a weird one. I'd have to see. This could be balanced, but there's some gods I think that would probably, hunters that would actually probably hate this. Having the basic attack damage reduced. Depending on what kind of build you're doing. Anyway, just regular balance. Because the brawl stuff, decrease anti-heal, debuff duration to 5 seconds, 5 seconds, 5 seconds on all of these guys. Bumbas is getting played around with. We've seen Bumbas bring the hammer to all sorts of different gods, especially at higher levels of play. With its current state, Bumba's hammer provides damage and sustain that helps enable many warriors in the jungle. By changing the stat spread, we hope to keep it as a viable option for assassins while toning down its effectiveness on tankier gods. We are also changing the cooldown mechanic to non-ultimate abilities only, as this was a common player frustration point. Aha. Balancing old stuff and passive. After casting an ability, your next basic attack deals an additional blah blah blah. Okay, similar things. Let's see. And you're healed for 5% of your thing. Your health, the new stats, it has power now. 50 physical, 70 magical, 150 health, 10% CDR. Got a CDR nerf because they put power on it. Health's been cut in half. After casting an ability, your next basic attack deals an additional 80 true damage after hitting a basic attack. Empowered by Bumba's Hammer, your active non-ultimate cooldown is reduced by 1 second, and you're healed for precisely 120 health. Not 5% of your max health anymore. So they're trying to rebalance this so it's not as quite as useful. 10% CDR was probably necessary considering it had a 1 second reduction and you could get it after each ability. So that's good. I mean, I feel like this is a good balance change, probably. Emblem with the Stronghold, increased conversion rate of passive from 10 to 15% of your protections. Reduced internal cooldown of Amulet Silence from 45 to 30 seconds. Support starters, big buffs because it feels like supports can't get farmed these days. Increased bonus gold per trigger from 7 to 8. Sentinel's Embrace added 6 gold per 5 seconds. Not XP changes gold though, so I guess you can get your build faster instead of, you know. I mean, I guess that's a way to balance it. It's not giving them more XP. Well, they did do a little bit of that for the change of the lowest level XP bonus. But this just gives you more gold so you can build your items quicker. So that helps a little bit. Supports will probably still be behind in farm by a decent amount. But that'll help a little bit. Relic Dagger increased relic cooldown reduction from 30 to 40 seconds. Tyrannical Plate Helm increased minion buff from 20% health and attack speed to 25. Mail of Renewal increased physical protection from 20 to increase both protections from 20 to 30. Sledge increased CCR from 20 to 30%. I don't like that because that can affect your build weird. Because how many items have 10% CCR for you to get max? I don't know. That was a little weird. I have to double check. I think Shield of Regrowth might have 10% on it. Or 10% CCR. I might be wrong about that, actually. How many items can I remember that have that? Well, E-Staff has 10%, I think. That's not helpful for this. Anyway, Pythags removed 10% magical penetration, added 10% cooldown reduction, increased health from 200 to 250. Okay. Trade Pin for CDR. I guess that's fine. But, I mean, it's kind of a supporty, you know, team item. Does it need pin like that? Probably not. Anyway, Staff of Meridian. With the introduction of Sphinx Vobble, we feel like Staff of Meridian was a bit too close to its functionality. Okay. Because they don't want another thing that feels like it's breaking the cooldown mechanics. Old passive removed. New passive, when your ultimate ability has finished casting, you gain Meridian's Rage, which provides 25% increased damage dealt, decaying to 2.5% increased damage dealt over 8 seconds. At the end of the 8 seconds, you lose Meridian's Rage. This is going to occur every 45 seconds. Okay. It's interesting. It's just like, more damage. Which is fine. I mean, because the old thing was what you instantly get the ability again with half the damage or something. But this allows you to get bonus damage on everything else that you cast instead of just the next ability used or getting used twice. So this, I mean, this makes it a little bit smoother. And I think about the same amount of usefulness. It might actually be better because it's only it's giving you increased damage on everything you do after that, and you don't get an ability twice, but you have more than one ability you can use. So this is good on gods that only have abilities that deal damage, because you use your ult, and then you have 3 abilities you can use with bonus damage from it. So that seems like a big win to me. For mages, not for niche situations where you might have built this on a guardian, but, you know. Celestial Legion added 4% crit damage reduction per stack. Why are you giving this item a weird... That's stupid. At least the base stats, other base stats were nerfed. But, okay. Voice of Illumination buff duration increased from 8 to 12 seconds. Drowned Ankh increased miasma damage from 2% current HP to 4 because no one builds this one because no one likes it, because the other one's better. Cloak of the Avatar increased knockback strength by 33%. What? That's weird. Oh, right, because it has the weird cloak, wind cloak thing on it, and that's such a weird item. No one builds it. Chaotic Beads changed passive from 7% of current health as magical damage to 5% as true damage. It cannot be mitigated. Okay. Emblem of Trembling Terror decreased health threshold for Tremble to occur from 30% of max HP to 15%. They're buffing a lot of these because no one builds them, because the other versions are just straight up better. So I don't think I really care about these. Sundering Blasts fixed the bug where incorrect Sunder icon was being used to represent cooldown. Increased target damage increased from 5 to 7.5%. Thorns of Overgrowth increased radius of passive from 55 to 70 units. Miscellaneous. Whatever. Alright, DR things. We're going to talk about how the DR works. DR stacks will now be a visible icon on the buff bar. Max stack count increase from 2 to 4. Stacks of DR last for 15 seconds, and this duration is refreshed on each new application. No change. CCR per stack decrease, though, from 40 to 20%. Okay. DR can no longer be applied to yourself or allies, so if you want full cap, without DR, you have to actually build items. Okay. Fixed mini code driven displacement abilities that previously did not apply DR. Okay. And we got to talk about crowd control because things change how DR is applied. Hard CC is now defined as any crowd control that makes it impossible to do at least one of the following actions: basic attack, non-movement abilities, and movement inputs. Hard CCs apply 1 stack of DR and their durations are affected by the number of DR stacks a player has. So the roots are now considered hard CC. Oh. Okay. True hard CC is a new subclassification of hard CCs defined as hard CCs that are not affected by DR. As such, true hard CCs apply 2 stacks of DR. These include bandages, grabs, knockbacks, knockups, polymorphs, and pulls. And soft CCs are now defined as any crowd control intent that makes it more difficult to do anything. And they neither apply nor are affected by DR. Intoxicates, trembles are now considered soft CCs. And of course, cripples and slows are soft CC. And is silence? No, silence would be soft CC because it's not I mean, it keeps you from using an ability, but like you can still move in basic attack. So I don't think silence is a DR or is hard CC. I don't think. I'm not sure. I'd have to check. The following gods have increased the duration of the affected CCs to ensure that the current listed durations are still accurate. On her impale, Aries, no escape, a Wheelix gravity surge, dodgy powwow, Gilgamesh drop kick. Oh, these are ones that apply CCs at the same time. But it's just like stun, 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 technically speaking, for all of these. At the time at which the CCs actually applied. So, on her impales a knockback with a stun if you hit the wall. Aries is a pull with a stun at the end after you get pulled. The Wheelix is kind of both at basically the same time. So it's a little different from the other ones. They're not applied separately, I don't think. And powwow is a pull stun. And then Gilgamesh is knockback stun. Like an on her impale. Anyway. Known issues. Cardinals the Wild Hunt is applying only 1 stack of DR instead of 2. Polymorph is applying only 1 stack instead of 2. They're currently tracked. Okay, so they found them later and couldn't put them in the update. That's fine. That's not really a big deal. God balance time. Ao Kuang decreased time it takes to gain a stack from 12 to 10 seconds. On the passive, Water Illusion increased magical power scaling from 60 to 70%. Cerberus increased the healing reduction applied to nearby enemies from 20 to 25%. And then Paralyzing Spit has had its damage reverted. Okay. These are tiny changes. Hard Bomb increased damage done to minions from 50 to 60% on both the initial hit and explosion. And then Shared Love increased base heal per heart from 30 to 110 to 40 to 140. Probably should have been done because you increased everybody's health in the game. Anyway, Discordia increased damage from 60 on Strife from 60 to 220 to 80 to 240. Erratic Behavior decreased cooldown from 16 to 15 seconds. Era Commanding Presence increased cooldown reduction on Argus from 1 to 1.5 seconds. Increased cooldown reduction on Commanding Presence from 0.33 seconds to 0.5 seconds. That's a big buff for her. Joust flavors here. Because people kind of like her in Joust way more than they do in other modes. So that could be a big deal there. Hercules, Driving Strike decreased cooldown from 14 to 13 seconds. Earthbreaker decreased cooldown from 14 to 12 seconds, scaling down to 13 to 11 seconds. And big buff for the monkey. Overhand Smash is now knock up and knockback immune. And the base damage has increased from 75 to 290 to 85 to 305. And remember how we talked about the new Jotun's item he's going to really like? Oh yeah. Big buffs for the man. Nike buffs. I love that. Decreased cooldown reduction. Decrease cooldown on Rend from 14 seconds to 14, scaling down to 12. Barrier formation, increased damage from 70 to 310 to 80 to 320. 10 power. Pele Pyroclast, increased return damage from 20 per shard to 30. Circuit Deathbane, increased base damage from 80 to 122 per hit to 50 to 130 per hit. Revert, Last Breath, increased damage mitigation from 35 to 50%, because she had a horrible reputation for just blowing up immediately after ulting. The next three gods have some spicy changes. We now have the capability to differentiate bonus damage to minions, allowing us to improve specifically jungle clear and lane clear. Heyo. These jungle clear buffs are intentionally not on the primary clear abilities of these gods. Having only one ability that clears a jungle camp well leads to one camp getting instantly cleared, then having to wait until that ability is back up before you can easily clear the next. Okay. So you get bonus damage on the monster, and then your standard clear ability will keep that, make that a little more streamlined. Shackles now deals 40% extra damage to jungle monsters. Are we going to play jungle Aries? Is that what it is? No. Alluring Spirits, the same. Deadly Aspects of Morrigan now deals 30%. And then Chang'e things, increase base HP from 574 to 650. Increase base HP per level from 84 to 88. Total health is gone from 2254 to 2410. Oh yeah. It's because she plays like Zhonghui and Hades, and people tend to do that, not pick her in mid so much. Okay. I get that. I hate it because I don't like her at all. I don't like fighting her. Playing her is usually a pain too. And Crescent Moon Dance, 15% extra damage to minions. General, just minions. Okay. That's a little hard of a buff to me. Mjolnir's Attunement, minions now take 100% damage from the return swing. That's some quality of life, man. So they separated the loss of damage you get on hitting minions with it. Okay, so now it just does the same going out and coming back. Zhonghui, increased base physical protection from 11.2 to 18.2. I hate him. No, stop making it boring. You guys are making the game really boring by doing that with these two. Okay, whatever. Fun stuff though, Non-Conquest Balance. It has taken years for this, but they finally decided we're going to balance other things with different balance because people who play those modes have complained about it. I guess, which is fine. You know, hey, that's cool. I still think the balance should be exclusively around your main game, and there also shouldn't be as many modes. Let's see, duel and slash, gone, please. Just get rid of it. Quite frankly, that would be fine. I feel like for regular modes, you should have Conquest, Joust, duh, because they have rank counterparts. Arena, because it's Arena, got to keep that around. And then Assault, I don't think Slash needs to exist. People just need to play Conquest, dude. I'm serious. Like, the only thing that plays differently from those is how people decide to fight, and most people would go for a lot of kills in Slash instead of actually playing objectively. So they don't even play it like the way it was intended to kind of be a easier mode that has conquest-like elements, but people don't play it based on objectives usually, except at really high levels. So it's kind of pointless to me, and duel is bad and unbalanceable. So I've talked about that before. Then you might be saying, what do you do with the rank mode? Honestly, ranked arena, I'm not really, that's not a joke. Like, people get really try hard at high elo on arena, so you might as well just make a ranked version. You know? If people still want dual freaking, I don't know, make it a casual mode. Anyway. They're balanced. We're not going to read all this. We're going to go, gods will now have percentage-based buffs to streamline this and not make a bunch of wild, have them required to do a bunch of crazy coding and wild changes for other modes, which is why I've always been like, don't have automatic bans in duel, don't change item functionality unless it's particularly abusive, like Animosity was in its previous state, and Destol. You know, I wouldn't, because that's just a lot of nonsense that could also lead to more bugs, and no thanks. So this is probably a more efficient and safer way to do that. Non-Conquest Balance effects will apply equally in all modes. If the god you're playing has any changes applied to them through Non-Conquest Balance, there will be an icon on your buff bar and system message at the beginning of the match. Buff and debuff effects available will be damage to minions, damage to gods, damage received, healing given, non-ultimate ability cooldowns, and ultimate ability cooldown. First one, because of Opwash stats, by the way, these are all stat-based buffs, meaning they're looking at pick rates, win-loss rates, things like that to determine the balance, which, if you don't want to get too specific, is probably the best way to do that. That can lead to some weird stuff because that win-loss can change wildly depending on what level of the game you're playing. Like if it's a high elo game, that's going to be different. In high elo games, I don't think Opwash has great stats, for example. And I think at low elo, Artemis is terrible. Maybe. I'm not sure, though. But anyway, Opwash minus 5% damage to gods, minus 10% damage to minion, plus 5% on his non-ult CDs, plus 10% on his ultimate cooldown. Much longer. Artemis, pretty simple though. The highest performing hunter across non-conquest. Okay. 5% less damage to gods, 10% more ultimate cooldown. And then Aries, because this god can really abuse your team, is 15% ultimate cooldown. Yeah, boy, you only get to ult like every 115 seconds. Damn. It's like, those are some long ult cooldowns. But I think that's fair for him. He's picked a lot very annoying in non-conquest. One of the few gods that is in top 5 in win rate in every mode. And Khepri has had 5% more damage taken, 5% non-ult cooldowns, 15% ult cooldown because that's a big deal. Zeus is getting a little knocked, minus 10% damage to gods, plus 5% non-ultimate cooldowns, the buffs to the guys. Ao Kuang has a high skill cap in the way he plays. I would say in most cases, non-conquest players are not going to be that good with him. So, yeah, and a lot of it is actually based around the modes themselves, because in, like, Arena, he's terrible. Because he has to walk at you in a giant open map in front of your whole team, and he just dies for it, so. Minus 5% damage taken, minus 10% non-ultimate cooldowns, minus 10% ult cooldown. Arachne, minus 10% damage taken, minus 10% ultimate cooldown. Bakasura, blah blah. Camazot's minus 10% non-ultimate cooldown, minus 10% ultimate cooldown. I think this is where we get into the why Rexy was mad part. This is whatever. Ao Kuang's a weird god though, so I don't know what that's gonna do. This god is just cringe. And then obviously that makes it hard for duel specifically. Assuming this applies to duel, because it's a ranked mode, but it is also non-conquest. So I don't know what they've actually done. I'd have to check that in the PTS client. And can you do that in a custom lobby and see what it does? I don't know. I'd have to see. But Camazot's being, I don't know why he would be that low win rate. I guess it's just good players just don't play him outside of Conquest. Maybe. Because this god is silly. Bakasura is going to be played by dumb people that just run at you and don't know any kind of strategy typically. So that's why his win rates their win rates are probably bad in other modes because of, yeah. But also you keep in mind with like Dual Arachne there are hunters that are counter matchups on her, so that's whatever, honestly. She loses to most things that you're going to play there. Bakasura, I think, is the only one that's like, this could be an issue. So we'll see. Janice, not surprising, plus 10% damage to guns. Set, plus 5% damage to minions, minus 5% damage taken, minus 5 non-ultimate cooldowns. Again, that could be a dual problem, but he's not as effective as Bakasura, so that remains to be seen. Same thing, kind of the same thing Arachne has, where there are certain things that counter him pretty hard in that mode, so we'll have to see. And then Serket is whatever, minus 10% damage taken, plus 5% damage to gods, voice actors, you know how it is. And that is the end of the notes, everybody. Now, going back to what I referenced earlier with Rexy, I don't know why he put in his thumbnail, Duel is dead. I don't know. There are some things that could have some slight concerns for that mode in particular to me, but there was nothing that was outright completely alarming to me that's like, oh, you've killed the mode. I mean, the only thing was maybe the earrings for hunters could be a problem. But again, it is minus 15% damage. You can play gods like Raven right now in Duel that can soak a lot of damage, so... well, I mean, yeah, because Raven got huge buffs, so... There are some ways to work around that. It's not completely impossible. And just because you're autoing faster doesn't mean you're going to hit it. Or doesn't mean... Just because the travel time is faster doesn't mean you're going to still hit it. You know? And I mean, you were... much more likely to hit it than not, but we'll have to see with that one. The Bakasura change could be a little bit of an issue, but in most matchups that you would be fighting in Duel, because it's super try hard, are you noticing it that much? I don't really know for sure. We'll have to see. Same thing with Set. I don't think it's a big deal. They're trying some new fun stuff. I'm glad they're at least trying Non-Conquest Balance just to see, just so that way everybody kind of gets what they want, you know. But of course, any update, anything that happens, there's always going to be people that are unhappy. And there's a couple weird things in here that I just generally don't like. Like I said, the Chang'an Zhang buffs, ew, please don't. But I think most of it is a non-reaction until I see how it works in game thing, you know. Because there weren't a ton of glaring things. There were a lot of moving effects around between items, introducing new items that are fun and different and do cool things, but may not be that broken once you actually get them in game. We'll see. Anyway, like and subscribe if you guys enjoyed that. Leave a comment down below if you want. As always, check the links down in the description. And I'll see you guys next time for some more Smite. Have a good one.